In this lesson, I'm going to be going through how you can make the classic Victorian sponge cake, and I'll also be talking you through various baking techniques you can use so that you get a beautiful result. First things first, you have to remember to have brought out your cold ingredients from the refrigerator at least 4 hours before you're going to be using them. These are your eggs and your butter or margarine. It's important to note that your eggs must be at room temperature for you to get an excellent result. If your eggs are not at room temperature and you cannot wait to bake the cake, you can actually create your own room temperature eggs by adding cold eggs into hot water, and this will give you room temperature eggs. Also, for your butter, it's a good thing to have your butter diced and ready to use, because this will make it easier for it to incorporate into the batter. A way for you to dice is to use a bench scraper and just cut through into chunks very gently. So just cut through into chunks. So I've cut it in half lengthways, and then this is half the other way, and then we're going to cut that into half too, and then another half on the other side, like this, and then again cut it straight down lengthways. It's important to use unsalted butter. Don't use salted butter for your baking. And there are many great brands of butter out there that you can use. So do your research into your ingredients to know which ones give the best result. First things first is for us to cream our butter and our sugar in our mixer. It's a good idea to put the sugar in first. Put the sugar in first so that the butter doesn't get stuck at the bottom of the mixing bowl. And now we can add our butter cubes. You can also use margarine in place of butter. At this point, before we start creaming, I'm going to add the vanilla extract. A thing to note, you can either use vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract. Vanilla bean paste tends to be a lot more concentrated, so you get a sharper vanilla flavor. You can also use vanilla extract. I add the extracts at this point so that it incorporates well into the base of the batter in the creaming method. So I'm going to be adding the vanilla bean paste. So now we're going to start mixing very slowly to cream our butter and our sugar. Remember, this is a very critical step in the creaming method. You want to end up with a light and fluffy mixture. So it has to have gotten lighter in color as you have mixed, and also had more air infused into the mixture. The air infused into the mixture is what is going to give your cake a lovely light feel. So at this point, I'm going to scrape down the bowl and also scrape down the beater, just to make sure that everything incorporates evenly. So now I'm going to start adding the eggs one at a time. And one at a time means you just add one yolk at a time to the mixture, and you're going to be mixing it at a very minimal speed. Roughly, the whole step should take about 5 minutes. I'm going at speed 2. Just one yolk at a time. So you let each yolk incorporate into the mixture before you add the second yolk. While that's incorporating, I'm going to sift out ready our self-raising flour. Just going to sift it out onto parchment. So the eggs have now been incorporated into our mixture. Now we are ready to transfer the flour. So now I'm just going to mix it at a very low speed for about 5 minutes. So now our batter is now ready. So we have a lovely silky smooth batter. At this point the oven has already been switched on at the correct temperature. You'll find the right temperature in the downloadable recipe. So now, because we are baking a sandwich and we want our layers to be the same height, I'm now going to weigh my batter into my pans and make sure that I have the same quantity. So it's just going to be placed on the scales, zero the scales. I'm just going to add some batter here. So this is 805. That's this. So this is 836 grams. Now we need another 836 grams here. So now we have another 836 grams of batter in here as well. So now we're just going to smooth it out in the pan. Just get the nice lovely level cake. And again for this pan too. And now, in order to have the air bubbles raise up to the surface, I'm going to tap my pan on the bench. This way I won't have any gaping holes in my cake. In order to bake really even layers, you can use bake even strips around your pan, or you can use a heating core inside your pan. But this is only applicable for pan sizes that are 10 inches wide or more. We are baking an 8-inch cake today. An alternative to using a heating core for a smaller cake is to use a flour nail. Make sure to grease inside and outside of the heating core. You place the heating core in the pan, put the batter around it, and also put batter inside so you can replace the part of the cake that you take out. We won't be baking with any kind of heating core today. Now, last thing to do, in order to reduce caramelization in your cake, you can put a piece of foil over your pan while it bakes, and then remove this about 30 minutes before the cake is done. So now our cakes are ready to go in the oven, and I will see you in the next lesson to show you what to do when your cake comes out of the oven. See you in the next lesson.